electromagnetic disturbances do happen, so we cannot avoid it, and we need to make sure that the vehicle does not produce any problems when driving an ADAS function. Now in the new ADAS functions, we are coming to level 3 ADAS functions, where the driver actually is offline from having his hands on, or his concentration into the driving for several seconds. And in this time, until the vehicle can hand over if some problem occurs, an electromagnetic disturbance must not cause any problem with these safety functions of the vehicle. So we as an OEM, we need to test this behavior in as good as possible before we launch a vehicle. And this is why we need to test this under electromagnetic conditions. That's of course the right way to start with, but even if you test all the components individually, there could be some additional problem that you introduce by just wiring them up in the vehicle, for instance. So the OEM, who has the final responsibility for the car in the market, needs to make sure that the final product as such is EMC tested, and there's no interference or some problem with the components if they're interacting in the whole vehicle. So this is why we need to bring the whole vehicle into an EMC chamber and test on a system level. So yes, we need to have a turntable test bed for that. So it's a chassis dyno typically that can spin more than 360 degrees. And since we do not want to have the driver in these harsh electromagnetic conditions, we also need to put some driver automation functions inside the vehicle to operate that during the testing. Well, partially yes. Vehicles are tested under EMC conditions while they're operating. What is really new here is that we are dealing with quite complex ADAS systems that also need to be operated while the vehicle is on the test bed and spinning, and while we are radiating EMC disturbances at the vehicle. In order to keep this ADAS system alive and functioning, we need to present some reasonable sensor data to the vehicle. The vehicle is making driving decisions while it's testing, and the environment needs to react reasonably back. So we call this closed loop simulation, and this is really new what we are doing here. While we are testing EMC conditions, we need to run the ADAS system reasonably in order to judge whether the EMC disturbance has an influence or not. Unfortunately, we cannot use the previously just recorded data because the ADAS function is actually doing decisions while we are testing that leads to different path plannings in the environment, and the recorded sensor data wouldn't match to the testing situation that we are getting in after a few seconds, and we would get into problems. So we have to place several devices in the test cell around the vehicle that is spinning on the turntable, and that means we have to have these devices that stimulate our ADAS sensors, not have any EMC radiation that would interfere with the testing, of course. Then the devices must be EMC hardened, so they must survive this harsh environment and not create any problems during testing. And of course, they need to be able to turn with the vehicle. So from the perspective of the vehicle which is spinning, the sensor stimulation needs to be stable in front of the sensor. Quite a lot of challenges to additionally solve to a typical vehicle-in-the-loop setup, but we can master this, and we can that way help our customers to EMC test their full vehicle functions on our test beds.